All right, guys, where where do we begin? We're doing kitchen talk today, and we got a lot to talk about, and I'm not really sure where to begin. Um, I took the last couple days, living life outside the app and doing mom life stuff. And when I do that, I try not to pay attention to what's going on online. I had told everyone, like, please don't send me anything. I don't care. I don't really want to see it. It's, whatever. People don't have to like me. That's fine. I don't, there's people I don't like. People don't have to like me. It's how the world works. And that's our choice. That's part of our freedoms to like whoever we want. And, you know, only in certain circumstances and instances did I want anything sent to me. And unfortunately, that apparently happened. See, I don't watch people that I don't care to watch. I don't sit around watching other people's live streams to hear what they're saying. I don't go click in their profiles to see what they're posting. I just don't. If it, if I'm not interested to watch it, I'm not gonna watch it, and I'm definitely not gonna watch somebody who is dishonest about me and takes clips of videos of mine to spin a narrative or cut it out of context so that you don't hear the before and after of what I'm saying. You know, I'm not one to really want to watch something like that because I know that it's dishonest. If you don't like what I have to say or you don't like the content that I produce, you don't have to watch it either. But unfortunately, the group of people that I have spoke out about, they don't do that. They don't just don't watch or scream and cry about it. They report you for uh, false things. uh, that's the only way I can describe it. Falsities, because when my video does not contain personal identifying information, and that's what it gets reported and removed for, that's false reporting. When my video does not contain uh, injuring yourself or ending yourself, that's false reporting. So, that it's if you can't handle someone's reaction to what you do, then maybe don't put it on the internet because everything you do, people are allowed to commentate on if you're showing it on the internet. Uh, and for some reason, if you think that I'm going to react and respond uh, in this frenzy because you're taking content of mine and, you know, distorting it to make it look a certain way, that's not going to happen. I'm just going to sit here and kind of like laugh at you because that tells me the fact that you're taking my content that it's on the internet. I know it's there. If I were a scammer like I've been called, then why would I have left that there for people to see? I don't really get that concept. But if all you're doing is trying to hurt me with a moment in my life where my family was in a very difficult position and struggling and asking for help, that tells me that you have absolutely no argument to the points that I made in my videos, where I very clearly show yourself in a dishonest moment, where you've been dishonest, and the other side of that where you're contradicting yourself to prove your own dishonesty. So if you can't if you can't argue that, and the worst that you can do to me is use content that is where I was struggling, I mean, aren't you really basically admitting that you were lying and scamming, and all you're doing is trying to attack the person that called it out? Because you're perfectly fine with others who do the same thing that I do. There's other creators on this platform who do very, very similar content. Um, I'm not going to mention names because it's not their problem, and I'm not trying to involve them. I'm just saying that they do very similar stuff and have even, um, you know, shouted me out about my own work. So you're in their chats cheering on the same type of content. You're watching their videos and excited about the things they're showing about another individual. But when you yourself become the content, you can't handle that. So you lash out at the person who made the content and showed the proof of what you were doing in a way that's, I feel, disgusting and vile, to pick at somebody's lowest times in their life or very hard struggles. I mean, you're really just saying, I can't defend the things that were shown about me and said about me, so all I'm going to do is attack you, report your channel to try and get that content off because I don't want people to see it. That's what that says. And, you know, that says all I need to know as far as what I've said. You've shown nothing to prove or disprove what I've said, you know. So, and unfortunately, that's not all of the things. There's so much more about this person. Um, but right now, I'm just kind of over the drama and the hate, because when I came to this community, it wasn't because I saw all this hate and just, I don't know, I don't even know what to call it, but all I've seen for a while now is just ignorant, nasty, vile, malicious hate towards people. Um, I have real content that I want to make. I don't just sit on live streams and talk about other people's misfortunes, disabilities. I don't make fun of people or bully them and threaten to attack them and smash their heads. Like, I don't do that. Um, that's not content to me. That will never be me or the content I make. And I don't want to be stuck in this place. I don't want to just talk about the same people. Um, you know, I get called a clout chaser, but the fact of the matter is that there's no clout here to chase. I actually am getting less interaction and views and all of that speaking about this person because they are not relevant. You kind of have to be relevant in the TikTok sphere to have clout. So the clout chaser thing just sounds ridiculous, and it's like, sure, okay. It seems to be a common insult of sorts that just doesn't really insult me because I know that this is not someone that has clout. They quite literally are trying to get clout from the local rug addicts, you know, like how am I trying to it doesn't even make sense. Clout is such an overused word and such an overused insult or attempt at an insult. So yeah, that don't hurt me either. Like I said, I'm not gonna let anyone bully me into silence, and that's pretty much what's happening here. Is an attempt at bullying me to shut up or to get rid of my content. I'm working on some re-edits because my content is something I work hard on. I put a lot of time, effort, and energy into my research. And like I said, you might not like it because you've become the content, but that's because you're doing these things online and being dishonest to people online. And if you don't want to become the content, you shouldn't be taking advantage of people online. Um, everyone's in an uproar over, oh, this is old news, but I'm sorry, I think the people who donated to the wish list should have the right to say whether or not they feel scammed, because the person who pushed, who come up with the idea, created and pushed for that wish list, was deceiving everybody with it. And meanwhile, the person that was receiving the gifts from the wish list numerous times said they didn't want it, to take it down, and so on and so forth. But the person pushing it said no. Oops. Literally laughed at people who asked for the baby's name when someone who wanted to donate to it asked for the baby's name, laughed, and made up a name with baby's mom. And I'm sorry, but to me, if you are laughing about having to lie about who the baby is in the wish list, that screams something to me. And those people, the ones who donated, didn't know who it was for. And if they did know who it was for, maybe they wouldn't have donated. So therefore, they got scammed and tricked into buying for somebody they may not have otherwise purchased for. And they have a right to be mad. I think they do. I think they have a right to be mad at Nicole, since she was the one pushing, sharing, and deceiving people about that wish list. I mean, that's just, you know. So, I, I'm not gonna go back and forth with anybody. I'm not gonna do these little, I don't even know what to call them. It's like, it's messy, yucky. It's to try to pick somebody apart for content that's over from last year in a bad time of my life, uh, when my husband lost his job and I thought we may lose everything. That's just dirty. And the people who donated to me, they still stand behind me to this day. I'll bet you they're watching this video right now, and I don't know if they want to be acknowledged or not, but I wouldn't doubt it if they were commenting in the comment section. And they have been amazing supporters of mine for a long time. And I guarantee you, they wouldn't say that I scammed them. I was upfront and honest about the situation I was in. I asked for help. How is that any different than creating a wish list for someone that needs help? The difference is that I didn't lie about the reasons I was in a position or who the money was for. You did. And that, that's, like, I don't even know what to say to that, except for that you just look silly trying to do that. It doesn't hurt me. It'll hurt you because you're spreading misinformation. And I would say writing on screenshots and video clips of me is with lies and non-proven information, that could be considered bullying, because you're not proving anything. Could it be called defamation? I don't know. But it's not honest, and that seems to be a pattern with this group of people. Dishonesty, threats, bullying people, that's not anything new. I'm not the first, nor will I be the last. Um, Silencing people, again, probably not the first. I doubt I'll be the last. But I can tell you now that this will be the last time that I put up with it and sit quietly and laugh at you, because I'm not going to watch or pay attention to you. You won't even be a flicker in the back of my mind, because I'm moving on to better things, uh, content that means something and I enjoy making. And I'll bet anything, a year from now, my content will be doing something, helping people, or whatever I want it to do. And it'll be growing and getting support. And I'll look back and I'll bet you anything you are sitting right where you are now on a panel with several people who I believe are just misfits from other communities and groups that all come together because they are bullies from those groups that the other groups didn't want to deal with, and they've all come together to form a little group of bullies who sit on panels and talk about people. That's where you'll be in a year, I'm sure. Or even worse, because Lisa will no longer be in the vicinity for you to make content off of. So when you're doing live streams and have no content on Lisa, how many people do you think will be watching? I can grow my platform just fine. I've not had any problems, whether it was Lisa or you or a million plus subscriber content creator or my life story. So, I mean, who's really the one that's hurting here? I may have lost that TikTok account. Maybe not. We'll see. But I can tell you, I won't be sitting in the same place, miserable and alone, or with hating other people for content and gifts. Jump in other people's boxes so that TickLeap don't pick up your gift amounts. That won't be me. No. Because I'm moving on and forward and doing bigger, better things. And as far as those people who want to say that I'm a Lisa sympathizer or Lisa supporter, I'll say this. I'll say that I have had a lot of criticism for Lisa. I don't agree with what Lisa does. Lisa, I'm sure, knows that if she had seen anything that I have ever said in any of my content. But because Lisa sees what I'm saying and agrees with it, so she shares it, that makes me a supporter and sympathizer. Is it possible that maybe Lisa just doesn't lie about every single thing like Nicole? Is that just maybe possible that she sees what Nicole does and is? Maybe she sees what this person is and does and just agrees with it? I mean, is that just not a possibility out there that maybe, just maybe, Lisa actually sees the truth in what is in my content? I'm not somebody who is just making content or in this sphere that revolves around and came off of Lisa. Is it just possible that she agrees with what I say? I mean, is she not allowed to have an opinion at all? Why is it that just because she shares, I don't know who shares, I can't control who shares and reposts and likes my content. I have no control over that. would you be reacting the same way if it was anyone else? Or is it just that your bias and hatred for Lisa is so over the top that anything she says, anything she shares, you're going to hate it and you're going to make fun of it, even if it's right? You just have such a hatred and bias that you can't see the truth right in front of your face. You know, I had so much criticism for her, and I said some really nasty things at times about her. But I can admit when I had a bias and seen things a certain way. And I can also admit when I see that people go way too far. When I can see that there are people that are pushing that woman to a point that it may end very badly. I can admit that I think that there are things that are done to her that are just absolutely vile. Because in the end, we are all, whether, if you're religious, if you're not religious, you do not have to take what I'm saying, but we are all God's people. We are all made in His image, just my belief. And we are all flawed. We all have flaws. We all make mistakes, some greater than others. That doesn't make you less of a human when you make the biggest mistakes and mistakes that you think you can't come back from. But I can assure you, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, some horrible mistakes, especially in active addiction. I made terrible, terrible mistakes that I will forever regret, and I will forever beat myself up for. I try not to. I work really hard to forgive myself because I never thought that my family, my loved ones, and everyone would forgive me for the things that I did. But they did. And they love me just the same through it as they do now. And I don't know that Lisa has that kind of support. I don't know that Lisa has or feels that she has anybody left. And when you're in the absolute pit of hell, what would you do? What would you do if you felt that you had nothing left to lose? Nothing. And this one thing was the only thing that made you feel good or gave you this feeling of, or somewhat feeling of happiness in some sort of way for her. I can see that. I look at this person and I see somebody at the very lowest point in their life. And I will not contribute to making it even worse for her. Does she do things wrong? Yeah, she does. But when you look at her live stream numbers, it's all the same people. Like women aged like 30 something to 50s or something like that. It's like all her analytics is like something 30 something to 50 something white women who do the things that I think are, some of the things I see are just absolutely disgusting, and I believe are an attempt to push her over the edge. And I'm sorry, I will never contribute to somebody doing that to themselves. I know some people want to sit there and say, she's paying Lisa on the back end to share her videos. You kidding me? Are you kidding me? She's not sober. Bitch, I look more sober than the person that you're supporting and defending. I would say that I can sit here and have a conversation without MFing everyone in the room, flipping the bird, screaming and yelling, swinging pipes at people's heads. You haven't seen that from me. You've seen me pop off actually pop off once. You've seen me very passionate about what I'm saying because I don't like somebody who lies to a lot of people, especially when a baby's involved. I don't like when people scam a bunch of people, innocent people who don't know what's actually happened when you lie to them. That goes Ronnie. That's that's Ronnie and her. I so to end this, to end all of this, I'll just say this. No, I am not a Lisa sympathizer. I don't sympathize with the horrible things that she's done or said. I also do not support, nor will I contribute or join in on the absolute destruction of another human being when they are already at the absolute pit of hell, when they feel that they have nothing left to lose. I will not be part of that because at one point in time, I too was there. And you don't know what you will say or do in that point in your life if you are there. If you've ever been to where she is, I guarantee you there are a lot of you out there that have never been where Lisa is. So I don't see how you can say that you would never do something if you have never been in that position. That's all I'll say about that. Now, I am going to push stop on this phone and I am going to go and get my daughter and we are going to do our hair together. Tonight we are going to be dyeing our hair together. I'm going to watch movies with my kids and work on other content and start preparing for the next journey in my TikTok social media world. I hope all of you do too. Bye, guys.